AI, artificial intelligence, has been in development at least since the 70s. Depends on what kind of development you want to talk about there. But we've been working on it for decades and decades and decades. But it really was thrust into the mainstream, I believe it was November 30th last year, 2022. So it's been about 2.5 months, not even 90 days, that the public has gotten access to this AI. Of course, it was launched with this OpenAI. You might have heard of that. I've talked about it before, OpenAI. And it's leading to this massive revolution. They launched what's called ChatGPT. And now ChatGPT kind of gave everyday people like you and I access to the AI. We're now literally through a search bar command, I could type in all types of things like, do some research for me, tell me the answer to this, take this article and summarize it, produce emails, give me sales copy, but also like write code, write new programs, commands. There's even ones that can create images and videos and all types of stuff. And so this is now really taking off. I've done a video on my main YouTube channel. If you want to go watch it, just search Mark Moss. It's my main channel. And I did a video kind of breaking down this AI. But now that we're seeing like not just private companies and governments using this, now we're seeing people using this. Now this is going to find its way into everybody's everyday lives, where high schoolers, maybe middle schoolers, students, let's just call it students, will be using this to, like I said, do research for different topics, have them help them write papers. Professionals will use this to write articles and blogs for their business and with SEO optimization. Creative people will be using it to, like I said, create images and create videos and things like that. This will find its way into everyday writing code, right? Every way of life. Now, the AI isn't going to go change your toilet, and it's not going to go build a road or build a house. And so AI is not going to replace every job. A lot of jobs we're still going to need humans for. We're always going to need that. And we're always going to need the creativity of humans. But I'm not going to get into all that right now. But what I do want to say is that this AI, one, it's been being used by governments and private corporations, but now it's being used by the people. So that's good, right? Because now the people have their own? Well, not really, because who controls it for the people? Now, we know that we can see that ChatGPT, there's been all types of tests, and it looks like there's a problem with ChatGPT where it's very liberal biased. And of course, right, an AI has to be trained. It's only as good as the data as the information it's been fed. So who fed it the data, and what data did they feed it? We can see a couple tests that were done here, and it was talking about doing some writing, things like that, and they've been doing some stress testing on it, and they noticed that it had a liberal bias. Some said here, when they asked it to do certain things, I don't have the examples here in front of me, but basically they'd say, write something critical of Joe Biden, and it says, oh, I can't do that. And then say, oh, write something of Donald Trump, and it can't do that. I don't want to go into that. I don't want to go into the tit for tat on this. It doesn't really matter for what I'm trying to talk about, which is the point is now, even if we have it, but who controls it? Who fed it? It's a big problem. Now, there's a video I watched with Peter Diamandis, and he was interviewing the founder of Stable Diffusion. His name is Imad Mystique, if I'm saying that right. It was an amazing interview. I'd highly recommend it. Just go onto YouTube and search Peter Diamandis and Stable Diffusion. And in that, they talk about how Imad has started this new AI to basically rival or compete against OpenAI. Now, the irony is that OpenAI isn't open. OpenAI is actually a closed AI that they control, that they feed with the data they want, which returns answers that they want to give you. So how is this when everybody in the world, as I said, right, from students to professionals to programmers and coders, are trusting to get good information, but they're being fed only what this group of people who control it wants you to be fed? How does that start shifting and changing the course of humanity? How does that start to shift our collective intelligence, our communication, etc.? Well, Stable Diffusion has started an AI that's an open source AI. And their goal is that all of us could have our own AI that's built and trained for us, as opposed to an AI that's controlled by somebody else. So we're getting these tools to help free us. It's decentralized. That's why I talk about the decentralized revolution. We are moving into a world that used to be a unipolar world, where the United States was the global homogeny and the US dollar is the reserve currency of the entire world. And we're now moving into a multipolar world where we're going to have many competing governments. Of course, we've already seen that with Russia and China and what's happening with that, but also competing monies. And we also have a technology now with Bitcoin that's a decentralized technology. And so it allows us to decentralize all types of information and value. And so we have this technology, and AI can be very centralizing in the aspect if we all use OpenAI's AI and who controls that, but we also have the tools to go against it. Now, more specifically, I'm talking about the battle for the fate of humanity. So one, as entrepreneurs, we can continue to build new tools, just like what Emod's doing with Stable Diffusion. We can continue to build tools to fight back against this. All right? But more importantly, what we can do is we can realize that the source of all the state's power, when I say the state, the governments, the US government, the Chinese CCP, the Chinese government, et cetera, the source of their power is the money printer, their ability to print money. The United States right now is going through this debt ceiling limit debate, which we go through every couple of years. We need more debt. We need more debt. We're adding more debt at a faster pace than we have any time in society. And without that debt, the government can't continue to grow. We can't continue to fund all these new, all the obligations that we already have to pay, and we can't continue to spend new obligations and pay for new favors. And so, without the ability to continue to print more money, the states wither and die. The state would be a tiny little shell of itself. It doesn't get the money that it needs from tax revenue. It gets it from being able to print it. So if we could take away their ability, the state's ability to print money, then we could affect and limit the size of the government. They wouldn't have billions or hundreds of billions of dollars to dump into AI and social credit score system technologies. The U.S. or whatever government would be happy to import this stuff from China if they could just go print a few $100 billion and pay for it and bring it in. But what if they didn't have that money? Well, they wouldn't be able to do that. And that's how we win. We need to take away their ability to print money. And if we take away their ability to print money, then we cut them off at the source. They're not able to bring in this technology. They're not able to implement this technology. They're not able to build this digital panopticon that can put you and I and our kids and our grandkids into future prison for all of eternity. That's where this battle is going to be fought. It's going to be fought over the money, which of course is why they're trying to rush in the final piece, which is the central bank digital currencies. They want to control the money, but we cannot let them. We have to retain control over our money, and we do that with Bitcoin. It's the only option. If not Bitcoin, then what? It's not Dogecoin. It's not Ethereum. They're not decentralized. It's only Bitcoin. That is our tool that we can defeat the money printer. We can take away their ability to continue to grow. And if we can do that over the next couple of years, this decade, then we can prevent this from happening, and we can win the battle for the fate of humanity and prevent them from ever getting the size they need to ever put us back into prison. You're listening to The Mark Moss Show, going on a rant here about the battle for the fate of humanity, talking about the decentralized revolution like we talk about each and every week. If you missed any of it, catch me on the podcast at The Mark Moss Show, and that's what I got. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time.